So let's check in with White House correspondent Monica Page at the White House. Monica, obviously slow last couple days, not a lot going on at the White House. Of course, I kid, but everybody in the world has been talking about this freak out. It seemed if you were on too much of the internet yesterday, the world is burning down and all of this crazy stuff. Not to say that any of that is good or anybody wants to see sort of the infighting, but I guess, from your perspective there at the White House, what is kind of the feeling or the mood? Is it that the world is burning down, or, it's an unfortunate situation and you just kind of move on from it? What is it like there?
Yeah, I mean, don't believe everything that you see and read online, I think is what I would say. Because when I'm here at the White House on the grounds, it's pretty quiet. It's not really the world is burning. It's not necessarily chaos like you'd see online or like what the mainstream media is telling you. Actually, everything seems to be going on as business. President Trump leaving off the South Lawn right as we speak around 3 p.m. Eastern time, right on schedule, doing all the things that he was supposed to do today, swearing in the new Secretary of the Navy, signing an executive order, and heading off to Bedminster this weekend. So it's almost as if you would never even know this was happening here. We haven't really seen many members of his administration coming up and down Pebble Beach. We haven't necessarily seen members of the press corps out here, as far as inside the White House press corps, that is, like some of the Caroline Levitt or any of the other press members in there, which I assume they're pretty busy on the inside. So I mean, you would never guess that it's as chaotic as it all seems online, but definitely don't believe everything that you see online because you would believe that it's the end times, and it's certainly not feeling that way here.
In a certain way, just because the libs had a field day yesterday with all of this, just kind of going on business as usual seems like the best way to push back on their like exuberance that they had. Just like, yeah, disagreements happen. We're adults. We move on, and we're still got to get the work done for the American people. So that's what seems like it's going on there, and that kind of seems like that's your take on it as well. Being there on the ground. Speaking of the accomplishments, I guess there's job numbers out. The job numbers, uh, not exactly the best, but they did beat expectations. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, first week of the month, which means that we get the previous month's job report, and
Mm.
it's 139,000 new jobs created of the month of May. Of course, 4.2% is the unemployment rate, kind of staying stagnant there. 98%, 99 to 98% of all new jobs were created in the private sector. So we're not seeing any of those government jobs. And those who are accounting for these jobs are native born Americans, which is a very positive situation there. So it's great to hear this jobs report, definitely exceeding expectations, like you just mentioned. So the economy is looking great. President Trump posting on Truth Social today that America is, quote, hot, and we are not as ice cold as we once were under the Biden administration. So it's a positive sign here at the White House still.
Yeah, it also is interesting too. Just I said not the best, but I didn't mean like bad. It's the headlines were, well, they
Yeah.
weren't as high as last month's, but they also beat
Mhm.
expectations. It depends where you're reading stuff. That's where
Right.
you get this whole convoluted messaging. But they did beat expectations this past month. Monica Page, Turning Point's White House correspondent. Thanks so much for taking the time, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Joe Bob. Have a great weekend too.